Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network, and you are watching another episode of Inside the Cougars Den. We hope everyone is having a fantastic evening so far. I'm going to introduce to you my two co-hosts for the evening. That's right. We have Mr. Crispy Bacon. Crispy, how are you doing tonight, my man?
Doing good. Glad to be back on, and the season's coming close, and we're just getting everybody prepared.
All right, Sarge, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing very well. I'm glad that I could come in today, and I was looking for a great show.
Oh, absolutely. So to start out with the other day, Chuck actually messaged me and showed me about some point of emphasis that that the league is going to be focusing on. So I think we all know that, the league that they're in, they kind of go by NCAA rules. I don't know if a lot of you knew that or not. So there's actually some points of emphasis that they are going by this year. So I will actually show you what some of those points of emphasis are actually going to be on. So it'll look like I'm frozen for a minute. Can you all still hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about some of these rule changes that are coming up. So the first one is, let's talk about these unsportsmanlike tactics. And this is video board and lighting system operators have been included in those personnel who may not create any distraction that obstructs play. Sarge, what's your thoughts on that one?
Can you repeat that again? You kind of broke up there.
Oh yeah, no problem. So this is on sportsmanlike tactics. So this is video board and lighting system operators have been included in those personnel who may not create any distraction that obstructs play.
All right. I mean, it's almost cheating, almost if they're distracting the other team and so forth. It's almost kind of reminds me, taking it back in the New England Patriots, how Bill Belichick used the camera crew before the Super Bowl happened. But I mean, I'm all here for all fairness, and everyone who is working for these teams, there's a code of conduct that they have to follow, and ethics and morale. So I mean, I like the rule.
Crispy, what do you think?
I mean, you don't want to distract the other team. That's unfair. It kind of seems simple and kind of unexplanatory, but I mean, cheating's not allowed anyway. So.
Well, yeah, but let me ask you: do you really classify that as cheating? I mean, it kind of is a distraction, yes, depending on really what you're doing. But Sarge, do you constitute that as technically cheating?
Yeah. I do. I mean, if you're trying to help another team win and you're not in the game, yeah.
Right, okay.
Or if you're trying to make, funny, distracting messages to get the other team distracted, I mean,
well,
no one wants to do that either.
If they're just doing messages, I mean, I don't know. I mean, look at it baseball, kind of like when the opposing team, when the pitching coach comes to the mound, the other team actually plays some funky music,
right,
or try to make fun of that team. I mean, they could be lighthearted and everything else, but I guess, you know what, if it's lighthearted and it's not a distraction, because the players should be focusing on the field, not on some message board.
Right.
What's up, Big B? We hope you're having a good night. No, and I kind of get what you're saying there, Sarge. So with that, what do you constitute as a distraction?
Me?
Like when they're talking about this type of rule, what would you see as a distraction?
I mean, a guy wearing like a barrel and nothing else. I mean, that could be a distraction there.
Okay, you constitute that as a distraction. Okay. All right, Chris, how about you? What do you constitute as a distraction?
Like a fan, kind of similar to what Sarge was saying, fan coming down in the field acting crazy. I don't know, but
I hear crickets.
I do too.
Oh, well, here's the thing. Like those are actually frogs, believe it or not. So I got nothing. I cannot do anything about it. There's too many frogs right now. Sorry, guys.
Oh, it's all good. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the next point of emphasis here. So this is for the 2021 season. Targeting and dangerous contact fouls will continue to be a priority for all officials. The Rules Committee continues to embrace the targeting rule to promote player safety and reduce head contact. It will be a point of emphasis for officials to penalize any taunting action directed towards an opponent. Committee members think these actions reflect poorly on the game and can lead to unnecessary confrontations. So let me just stop right there really quick, okay? Because I know we've had these discussions about taunting before. So
Yeah.
Sarge, I'll go ahead and start out with you. So I just read you the rules and the point of emphasis that they're really focusing on sportsmanlike and taunting and unnecessary contact. Now, for me, I do agree with the unnecessary head contact. Absolutely, I do agree with that. That's all about player safety. Okay, I do agree with that. But there's a fine line between like certain taunting and when it's extreme taunting. Oh, yeah. So, Sarge, what's your initial thoughts on this emphasis for taunting?
I don't know about the taunting one. I mean, the illegal contact, yes, I get that 100%. But come on, if you make a great sack on the quarterback, I mean, go full Jared Allen, do the rodeo rope thing. I think that is fun for the fans and all that stuff. But if it's like doing something that is like derogatory or anything else, then yes, I will consider that as a flagrant there. But I mean, let's have some fun.
Well, and I think to where they're getting in with this is like, when you go and point at a player or you make a good hit and you stand over a player and you look down at the player as you're backing up. I mean, would you classify that as taunting?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't consider that taunting whatsoever. Look at baseball. Like if a hitter hits a or if a pitcher like throws a ball and the hitter hits it, and the pitcher always stares down the batter sometimes, do you consider that taunting?
No.
I mean, not really. So
I would check on this one because he's saying that in his personal opinion that taunting calls are 90% BS.
Yeah,
and I agree with that 100%. I mean, do the John Cena, do the people's elbow. I don't care.
No, that's fine, but I
do
don't
the people's elbow.
I don't think you should.
That might be illegal contact, but
I don't think you should, like, when the player's laying on the ground, you stand over him and go, "Yeah, I got I tackled you," or.
I would 100% do that. I would 100% do that. If I sack the quarterback, I'm going to let them know, or the offensive line know, hey, look what I just did.
But I think that's what they're mainly looking for.
Yeah, but because I think what they're worried about is I really think that they're worried about this unnecessary confrontation, which in reality, I think as adults, I think we understand that, this is kind of part of the game. This is stuff that we generally do. And I don't think people are doing it to start a confrontation. I don't think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to have, but I mean, when they do it, they're just trying to have fun.
Okay, when you step over a player, when's the last time an actual fight actually broke out?
Usually they don't. Exactly, right?
Exactly. I mean, it's
rare.
I mean, like, show up and play. That's where I'm at on that one. Is like, hey, they got the better play on you, so yeah, they're letting you know that.
Yeah.
All right, so Crispy, you've heard kind of what Sarge was saying about the taunting calls and I do agree with Chuck that 90% of the taunting calls are kind of BS because the thing is like you see him throw flags for taunting and like something was said, but what was said? I mean, it's like they're kind of taking a little bit of talk out of the game a little bit. So
Yeah, and if I know we don't have it, but like NFL films or something like that, you see something where they're like, yeah, he said something, and then they play it back, and it's like, well, that's not really what he said, but it can be all depending on what's being perceived, I guess.
no, I get it. I get exactly what you're saying, but at what point do people get frustrated because so many taunting calls are made
Yeah, I
for,
get frustrated
for
too.
just the littlest things?
The
Yeah.
second one, I'll get frustrated because I'll be telling the ref, "Hey, I'm just celebrating." I mean,
Right?
that's how I
I'm
celebrate. You
celebrating.
can't- Yeah, I mean, after the second taunting call, then I would start getting frustrated because then it tells me that the refs are actually being. I'm trying to say nice words about that, but I guess the refs are hardening the rules and making it like impossible to even have fun on the field.
Yeah. Now, going back to the unnecessary head contact, I think everybody agrees with that, correct? Like, because that definitely has to be player safety there.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that one totally, but I just don't want it to seem like, oh, you hit the quarterback, there's a flag. That's what I don't want to see, kind of like what's happening in the NFL, because that is ridiculous going on right now. But I don't want to see that. But targeting for the head and stuff, yeah, I mean,
Well, and you're seeing a lot of leagues, not just college, but or the WFA, but other
Mhm.
leagues are starting to enforce the targeting.
Which I get it. You can if you have video replay, you can go back and you can see if a person purposely targets the helmet.
Yeah.
If they want to go head-to-head contact, generally you can see if somebody purposely does it. I think that the one fine line is I'm really curious, kind of what you think about this is like. We see in the NFL and stuff like that is that if somebody takes their hand and they brush it across the quarterback's helmet, they call it head contact and it's roughing the
Okay,
passer.
yeah, you did
So-
contact. You did
so-
contact the head, but not.
So
in an
Sarge, I think that's where you're going with that, right? Like at that point, that's where you're frustrated.
oh yeah, that's where I'm frustrated. I mean, here's the thing with the WFA and the NFL. The big difference is that the slow-mo replay, because you're going to have bang plays that are going to happen, and it is going to be a reaction on what the ref sees on that one. Chuck says it. Football is an emotional game. Use the emotional to fuel your game. I mean, I agree with that, and plus, I mean, with that being said, you got to keep yourself cool as well, so you don't actually accidentally target it, because the refs can see, oh, they did it on purpose and they're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and we see that if it's targeting, the player generally gets ejected. Now, do you agree with that though, Sarge? Do you agree that if it's a targeting call and you get called for it, that the player should be ejected?
You know what? They should just go as hockey rules and just like have penalty boxes for like 10 minutes or something like that. But I don't know. It's the intent, and that's the biggest thing that with the WFA, they don't have that slow motion replay, like to actually kind of have that evidence for the intent with that. And I don't really think without the replay, I don't think they should really eject the player whatsoever.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I am high school, when I ref the football games there, if we feel like there was true intent on targeting with the helmet, we can eject them. But sometimes that's so hard because we don't have a replay system. So we see as the targeting the helmet, and then we're like, man, we want to eject the player because it was helmet to helmet, and then sometimes we feel, okay, that was on purpose, and then we make it hard, and then the kid goes, no, I meant to lower my shoulder. And I was like, I get it, but we don't have a replay that you can watch, and that's what makes it hard.
Yeah, and
even if you did. Oh, go ahead, Charles.
Go ahead, Crispy Bacon.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
no, even if you had video replay, depending on your camera angle, it could still be difficult to see.
It can be.
It's all a judgment call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here's what I also going to struggle with is the offensive players. If they make a move or a cut or anything else, and the defensive player doesn't have time to react, and they go helmet to helmet, I mean, it's still going to be on the defensive player who's going to get flagged on that, even though it's not their fault. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's one thing I don't really like about that.
So, Chuck, 100%, I do agree with you. If it is a blatant, cheap shot, if it's a blatant helmet to helmet and targeting 100%, that player should be ejected. If 100% that it was a blatant helmet to helmet, 100% that player needs to be tossed. And shots at the knees, absolutely. Those are cheap shots. And that whole the blindside blocks, the defenseless receivers, those are things that I'm glad that they put points of emphasis on those also, because a receiver has to be able to defend themselves. They really do, because they're taking hard shots from corners and linebackers and safeties, and that's what causes a lot of injuries. Mm-hmm. And so I completely agree with Chuck on that one.
Oh yeah, I agree with that as well.
So
I mean, Chuck has also a good point. Is the linemen, they go head to head every single play.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've met a few I met a few pro here personally, and they told me that line gets crazy. It's dirty in that line, and if the refs were call every single thing, the game will never continue because what is happening down in the trenches.
Yeah, and so Chuck, you're right. The O-line and D-line go helmet to helmet pretty much every single play. They do, because they're coming right off the line every play. It's contact. And so that's where it's that's really where that emphasis is when a player hits them. Was it truly blatant? And that's what people have to look at. That's what they're trying to take out of the game. People are worried about the CTE and everything else. So I get where they're coming from on that. I've been there. I've seen it as an official. I've seen it. And I've seen those blatant cheap shots, and I hate it when it happens. I really do, because it makes both teams just so freaking frustrated. And that's when it causes confrontations on the field, when you see those. So one name, Conrad Dobler.
Dobler. Dobler. I know that he was believe he was an offensive line player back in the 70s with the Cardinals, but I know he passed away, but I don't know how he passed away. That is something that I'm gonna have to research on that one. So thank you, Chuck.
It was probably the CTE portion. Probably, I think that's probably why he's bringing that up, but I'm not. Or what caused it, anyways? Is that so? But I went to. I'm sure you guys saw the pictures when we went to Eugene a few weeks ago to catch practice up there with the Cougars. It was a great practice, fun practice. Got to see a lot. Then with Chuck, I was seeing that Chuck was really working on getting the passing game going. He really wants to put emphasis on the passing game, but also, kind of mixing in the passing game a little bit more also. But so Tim, let me ask you: Are you more of a passing guy or running guy?
Oh boy, that's a tough one for me. I mean, I don't know, to be honest. I like to have a balanced play because I like to have my running back beat up the defense of the first step of the defense, then have the defense draw in, then just hit them down deep with that one. But I think I would more go towards passing on that one, but just keep it balanced with the running game, and also throwing that the read option in there is going to be like a killer as well.
Mm-hmm. And I like to go with, for me personally, I like to go with the flow of the game, and I like to see what is working in the game. If the passing game's working, I'm going to go with that. If the running game's working, I'm going with that. Crispy, do you like the passing game or the running game?
If I was a coach, I'd probably try to go, balance. But as a fan, I kind of like the passing game.
Well, most fans like the passing game
Right.
because
if I was coaching it, I'd probably try to find a balance.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, Chuck, I completely agree with you 100%. You have to you have to take what they're giving you. If they're giving you the passing game, you take the passing game. If they're giving you the running game, you get the running game. Now, that weekend we were up there, it was going to be tough for them to do a lot in the passing game only because it was really wet that day. I mean, the field was muddy. It was really, really wet. The girls were slipping and sliding everywhere. You couldn't get a good grip on the ball. So
football.
Exactly. It was great to see that awesome mud football was awesome to see.
Yeah, definitely. That I like that. And like you and me, Ace, we're both in the Pacific Northwest, and I mean that's going to be a benefit for the Oregon Cougars. With that is being able to be used to those type of conditions that's going to happen, because even tonight it's supposed to snow where I'm living right now tonight. So, I mean, that's the good thing I love about football. I love those bad weather games. I love the muddy games. So that's awesome.
Right. Ask about the mud. Absolutely. There was a few of the girls up there who took a nice little tumble in the mud and like immediately went and got dressed because they're like, I can't do this. It was kind of cool. It was a great practice though. It was very enjoyable. Coach Hoffman's really getting the girls ready for the season. We're down to it's about 4 weeks. You can correct me on this if I'm wrong, Coach Hoffman, but I do believe it's about 4 weeks left before the first game. So he's got about 4 practices left to go before the first game of the season.
Yeah, I believe the first game's the 20th. I'll double check, but I want to say 26th.
Yeah, it's like the 28th or something like that. Yeah. So he's getting ready.
Yeah, so the first game is going to be the 22nd of April. I do believe that is down in Portland with that one. So that is going to be a season opener, I believe.
The first game should be in Seattle, I do believe.
Oh, well, last I heard it was Portland, so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it goes Seattle. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but if I remember right, it's Seattle, and then it goes and then it goes Utah, and then it goes Portland, I do believe. Yeah, 22nd. Thank you, Gabby. Thank you. Yeah. yeah, we're definitely looking ready for the season to get started. Now, Sarge, are you going to be at that Seattle game, or you're trying to anyway, right?
No, it's actually in Portland, the first game. Gabby is right. I pulled up their
Portland,
schedule
okay.
right now.
Yeah,
But
you're correct.
but I will be at the April 29th game.
Oh, in Seattle, correct?
No, I won't be at Seattle because they're playing in Portland as the first game.
Yeah, but you said the so you'll be at the April 29th one, you said?
Yep, I believe that's in Utah. So that's where.
Oh, yes. So you are going to that one.
Yep, tickets are already bought.
Sweet.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, they start with Portland and Utah.
Oh, so it says Seattle dropped out of the WFA.
Oh, wow.
Well, okay. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you for letting us know that.
There we go.
Yeah, Utah the 29th. So it goes Portland and then Utah.
And then Portland again.
Yeah, and then Portland again. But they don't play in Portland both times. I believe they play at home the second time.
Yeah.
No, they.
Yeah, the second time they play at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, very exciting season. We have some more comments that are rolling in here. Yep, Utah the 29th. So I think Utah is going to be one of those very, very fun games to go watch. Sarge, you're going to be there. Crispy, I don't know if you're going to be there or not.
Unfortunately, can't make it. But
Okay, so you can't make that one.
I'll be here. So.
Yeah, you'll be there. All right, so we're just several weeks away from kickoff, Portland style. Whoever can actually get out there and support the Oregon Cougars needs to really get out there and support them. You can catch the live stream of the Oregon Cougars right here. We're going to be sharing it everywhere we can. You can catch it on Amazon. You can catch it on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. You'll be able to. Utah is very well coached and managed team. Thank you, Chuck, for letting us know that. Thank you very much. So that should be a very exciting game. We have very high hopes for the Oregon Cougars this year. And now, Chuck, going back to what Isaiah was saying, when Isaiah's like, should I drop money on the Cougars? Don't do it. Don't do it. If he does it, it's going to be a jinx. So stay away from that. It will be the Isaiah jinx, and we don't want the Isaiah jinx. So let's not have him drop the money on the Cougars.
So a thought came across my head, like Chuck was saying Utah is very well coached and managed team. Maybe I could put those new rules to the test, see how far I can get with that.
Right? With
distraction and
with the distraction stuff, right? Get the distraction going.
I'll get the distraction going. There we go.
Put it to the test. Put it to the test. Right off the bat.
Yep, I might have to sign a waiver from Chuck or something.
You very well may have to do that. Sarge is out there in a tutu, and he's trying to distract everybody.
Don't tempt me.
Don't tempt me. All right. Yeah. So tonight was just going to be a short episode for us. We just want to talk about a few of the emphasis on the rules. We got to talk about a few of them. We'll be back next Wednesday for another episode of the Cougar Den. So Sarge, any final thoughts for you?
I'm excited for the season to get started. So it's going to be a good season. I hope I can see that the Cougars can progress from last season, since last season was their first year. So it's exciting to see like the progression that they have made.
So there's your answer right there, Sarge. All our officials are either NCAA or above. Sarge, you have free reign. Hey, so there you go. You can bring your pink tutu and your cheerleading outfit if you would like.
It is on.
It is on. All right. Crispy, any any of your final thoughts?
No, thanks everyone for watching, tuning in. It's gonna be a fun season. Only a few weeks to go. And just stay with Coast to Coast for Oregon Cougars. Getting you ready and all that.
And Chuck says, "Bring it, absolutely 100%. Bring it, because the Cougars are going to be ready. They're on the prowl, and they are ready. They're hungry. They're tracking their prey, and they're dragging them back to the den. That's what they're there for. All right. So thanks everybody for watching again, and you can catch us next Wednesday for another episode of the Cougar Den. Thank you for everybody who hopped on. Brittany, Gabby, Coach Hoffman, Isaiah, and hashtag We Got Next. There you go. All right. So with that, everybody have a fantastic night, and we'll see you next week.